Welcome to this episode of Spill the Tea with LLIB. On this episode, the dynamic duo Claire Morton and Jules Kelly, co-founders of Space and Freedom, discuss their journey in creating a space for personal and professional growth.
So ladies, spill the tea on what the journey in business has been like for you two so far.
Ooh, okay. Do you want me to go first?
Definitely.
Okay. Great question. I left the corporate world after deciding 7 years ago that I could not work with certain people or certain businesses at the time. I was wearing a mask and saying yes to all of the things that I wasn't agreeing with. So I got pretty sick and burnout. And I know that's a big thing that people are talking about right now. So that happened 7 years ago, and I decided to leave and start my own training business. And because I've been in the world of personal development and training for 20 years, so it was like, do you know what, I'm just going to leave and find my own clients and people that want to do what I want to do with similar values, similar ways of working, and just have fun, because everything was so serious in the corporate world where I was at the time. So yeah, that got me on the role of being self-employed. I left 2 months notice, no savings whatsoever, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Brilliant. However, it worked, and here I am today with my new business partner and a new business, Space and Freedom. And we've been going, we registered a Space and Freedom in November, didn't we, last year, after we did a retreat for high-performing women who are busy with burnout or sick. And this obviously stems from what's happened to me and what's happened to Jules as to why we've gone down this route of helping busy people who are so passionate but sometimes have not got that energy to do what they want to do because they are doing too many things. They're maybe not doing what lights them up, and they feel like they should take the load on, like so many women, so many of us take that load on, don't we, and think that we should be doing everything when we shouldn't really. We should be living in our soul's design.
Right. So right.
Absolutely.
And it's great that it's coming out now. And this podcast is just one of those examples of something great on education. So thank you.
It's real, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just the
Yeah,
reality
completely.
about running a business. There's no, you can bring your successes, but bring the things that challenge you as well, because that's what we needed to see before we started a business.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd have even started a business if we'd have seen or heard this podcast. And so I hope we aren't putting anybody off. Jules, what about you?
So as Claire just said, she wanted some fun. I didn't even get that far to thinking that, because I literally hit the wall, and I had a full physical and mental breakdown in 2017. But I'd lived with a chronic condition since 2006. I had fibromyalgia, and I was working within senior leadership positions. I was on the C-suite, big corporate organisations and smaller ones, and to be honest, my body was talking to me for all those years, and I was just ignoring her.
Yeah.
I was ignoring her. And this is what we see every single day now. So it was 2017. I was classified as disabled. I was bedbound. I was broken. Yeah, I was broken. And then there was a moment in time in my mum's back garden where I was having a cup of tea, and I'd taken some more medication that the doctor had prescribed me, and I really felt like I was checking out.
Yeah.
And it felt really calm and lovely. I was going to the light, and I wasn't scared. I just thought, oh my God, this is just such a blessing. And then 2 days later, when I woke up, I realised I wasn't dead. I thought, right, this is it. This is the gift. I didn't think it at the time, but now looking back, it was such a gift, because I had two choices, and that's our motto. We have one life and two choices. My choice was either to stay where I was in this existence, and the fear of being there was far greater than the fear of the unknown moving forward. So my first step was to get well. Yeah. And then I knew, or I thought I knew, I didn't want to go into corporate anymore because of all of the experiences. But it wasn't necessarily the experience of working in corporate. It was the way that I was showing up in corporate and the fact that I was working myself to the bone.
Yeah.
Plus, as a mum,
juggling
all of the things and being all of the things to all of the people all of the time.
We say that a lot. We are everything to everyone.
Yeah.
Like we really are, whether we want to or we don't want to. We just give, don't we?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And we now, so what our passion right now is to educate and empower other busy leaders and to give them the courage to make a change before it's too late, before they hit that breakdown, because actually hitting that burnout is not pretty.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want anyone to go through it. So there's that, coupled with obviously the education piece and showing our children and the younger generation that they don't have to wait till they're 47 to make those decisions.
I totally resonate with that so much. And I agree with what you said as well. Like, my breakdown was definitely a blessing in disguise. And when you're going through it, it can feel so hard. But then when you come out of the other side of it and you look back and reflect, it's actually, you know, it's look at the path that it's led you on and all the amazing things that you're doing now. So since you've started your fabulous businesses, I'd love to know what's been the toughest thing that you've encountered, what's been the hardest challenge, and have you got any advice around that would maybe help the viewers if they were going through something similar?
Go on, you go next. You go first for that one.
So I feel that when you're starting out in the entrepreneurial world or the business world, you're looking at everybody else and thinking, oh my God, they're doing this or they're doing that. Why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? And you can get this shiny object syndrome. And you literally, someone tells you need to be in this mastermind and you need to be in this, and you're spending thousands of pounds that you don't have to go and do things that you're told that you need. And actually what I would say is, be your own muse, take the power back here and stay in your own lane. Because I think I probably wasted a good 2 years being taken off my comfort zone, and I kind of lost who I was again. You know, the second time, trying to fit into something else that I didn't actually belong to, because what I am is, and what we are is really, really unique, and that's okay. In fact, that's not okay, that's bloody brilliant, right? And actually, so that's the advice I would give. Bring the power back to you here. Be your own muse and don't listen to the noise.
Yeah, I love that. That was exactly what I was going to say. So because I do compare, I'm aware that I'll compare, and I am staying in my own lane, in our own lane, and we're doing what feels right for us, and that big thing around getting out the head and into the body, into the heart, and what feels right in the body. And really embodying who we are, who I am, who Jules is, what do we want from life and business, and living that. Because if we are teaching people how to find their space and freedom and how to be well and connect to themselves, we've got to do that ourselves. Absolutely. And that's the hardest thing, especially because I'm so conditioned, and so we remind each other. She's so good at going, do you actually want to do that today? And I'm like, no, how does it feel in the body? No, it's a no then, so no.
We don't get as far as how does it feel in the body. We just said if you don't feel like it, you're not doing it.
So there's a great book I'll share on Instagram, and basically what she says is it's the art of not giving a subtle and she basically says on it, anything that you say no to now, start logging the time it would have taken out of your day, your life. How many hours would you gifted to somebody else that you didn't want to do, and also the money. So when I went away during Easter, I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start saying no to things, which is just not like me at all. Massive people pleaser. So I did it for the first time, and an awards ceremony invited us along, and it was £100 per ticket. So that was £200 for me and Cal, and then it would be obviously I'd need to put the dog in the thing, the dress, the makeup, the hair, so it tallies it all up. And when I looked at it, I was like, no way. And you meant to then spend that money on yourself, but I didn't. I put it back in.
I love that. And while we're on the sweary bit, there's another one where it says, if it's not a F yes, don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast or not, so I'll just err on the safe side.
we swear,
if it's not an F yes, then it's a no.
Yes.
Well, it is for some people. So we try and live in our human design.
Yeah.
So with Claire, she has sacral authority. So for her, it is an absolute yes or a no. There is no. We say there's no slow orgasm with a sacral energy. It's either a yes or a no. Yeah. There's no if it's a maybe, it's a no. And for me, I have to wait 24 hours for a decision. So I get the sacral hit, and if it feels like yes, I just need to check in 24 hours later.
Oh, we need to.
Yeah, I need to learn a bit more about that. Yeah.
So this all sounds incredible, and your journey sounds absolutely amazing. But what we want to know is who's made the most influence in business or in life on you both? So who's that influence who you might look up to, or someone who said something to you that you just think, I've carried that with me, like that's...
Oh God, there's probably quite a few people, but not necessarily from a business perspective. There's a couple of one manager that I had in QVC, Sandra. She was a great leader, and she always challenged me. And she one day said to me, "You need to grow a pair of balls."
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me, because I was people pleased, and I was going on, and I'll do this and I'll do that, and I was taking on so many projects, and she got me in. And remember the day she said, "Tell me what's going on." Told her, and she went, "You need to grow a pair." Yeah. And I just went, oh my God, yeah, I do. That was like probably the best feedback that she's ever given me. And she was so supportive, but really challenging as well, but always with good intentions. And I still see her now. And then my mum, because my mum was always in a managerial role in John Lewis, when it was George Henry Lee. And she was really kind and honest. Yeah. So taking elements of being a bit more, brave and doing what I want, and not listening to what everyone says, but then with the kindness of my mum. And then inspiration from my yoga teacher, when I became a yoga teacher, Mohan, 5 years ago, and just the philosophy of yoga around staying curious, about being in the present moment. Yeah. Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm in love with those two people, so they really changed my life 18 years ago.
I love
Eckhart
that.
Tolle.
Love that. Jules, what about you?
Hell, mine's going to be dead boring now. I can't tell you, she's actually in love with all of them.
And Jules, by the way, I learn stuff with you every day.
And vice versa.
You.
So,
I love that.
so I would say it was my mum,
Yeah.
actually. My mum's a projector, and my mum's German. And when she came to England, when she married my dad, she didn't really speak the language, and she is the kindest, funniest,
She's
most
hilarious.
giving woman that you'll ever come across.
I love that.
She's 77 today.
Oh,
and
happy birthday to your mum.
oh God, love her. And she everybody loves her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
And she talks to everyone, literally everyone. And what she taught me is that if you treat people like you want to be treated,
She's a good human.
and you know what, I've always gone by that. If you treat people well, people will treat you well. And that's everyone that you come across. And just be mindful that anyone that you speak to every single day, whether you're buying a coffee or whether you've gone to the toilets in the service station and there's someone mopping the floor, just be kind.
100%.
And so there's that. And my dad, education, manners and kindness. And I think that's the main thing. And I think taking that into business and having just taking the power back here. Obviously there's people along the way. And this one holds me accountable as well, and teaches me the stuff.
Me too.
So she teaches me the receiving stuff, because as being the main breadwinner for a long time, I spent a lot of time in the masculine.
Yeah.
Doing.
Yeah.
And Claire's brought it back to, right, you need to stop and be. And so that's my biggest life lesson, I think. That's my biggest soul journey, is about learning to receive.
Yeah.
So this one's, we're meant to work together.
Yeah, you complement each other so well, don't you?
Yeah, so good.
Must be, I want a business partner.
Oh, no, honestly.
So loads of people say that to us.
It's finding the right
We don't
person,
know
though, isn't
either,
it?
do we yet?
It
And
is.
allowing for the right person to come in.
Yeah.
And you must have that with Cal as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, it just works.
Do you know what? It's understanding and communication. And I think the best thing about me and Cal was we weren't friends before. So we didn't start this business as friends. We started the business and then became friends. And we are families, do things together now. And, it's just lovely. It's just a good relationship.
It's just more natural, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%.
I love that.
So, I'm really excited to hear about any goals that you've got, whether it be business or personal or anything else that you want to share with us about what you've got coming up soon.
Okay.
Oh my God, we've got so much.
Should we go with a personal one first, each, and then the business stuff? So a personal one for me is I have just put myself onto a, what is it? It's like
Mediumship development.
Mediumship development to help me with my psychic abilities. I've talked about this before years ago, and I've talked about it on a previous podcast that I used to run, and I astral travel. So I don't know whether you've ever heard of that. I like come out my body and go places when I'm asleep type of thing. And I used to think there was something wrong with me. And it happened to me when I was 17, when I was on holiday in Tenerife, thought I'd been spiked. And I literally came out my body and I was looking down at my body and I was like, oh my God, there's definitely, so I didn't tell anyone. And I closed myself down. My mum knew and a couple of friends knew at the time, and I closed it down because I didn't know what it was. I thought I was going to get taken away. And then over the years, I've heard more of, more people are talking about mental health, spiritual health, emotional health. And the last few years with my meditations and with my practices, I am doing it again, but because I'm allowing it to, because I'm not scared.
Safe now.
So I've just booked myself onto this psychic mediumship, and that starts at the end of October, because I can definitely see how that complements with us being energetic human beings. It complements the stuff and the work that we do, but I want to get a hold of it. Not a hold of it, I just want to feel into it and trust it more, because I like to control things, because that's what I've been conditioned to do. So that's me personally. What about you personally?
They're linked, right? So personal and business is linked. So our dream is to be off grid as a family. Well, as I say, as a family, the kids aren't. The kids will be gone soon, right? So one's gone. When I say gone, he's left home, and the other one is 17, so she's not far off.
I've got 17 as well.
Tricky, isn't it?
We need a lunch date.
We definitely do. And so we want to sell the house and live in a cabin somewhere half the time, and live on a boat somewhere the other half of the time.
Amazing.
And work from anywhere in the world. So that's what we're heading towards. And we have some land, which we've started now. We've dug the foundations for Space and Freedom HQ, so that our work, people can come to us. We've got 18 acres of woodland where we can then do what we do in nature. So
I love that.
that's kind of overlapped, and actually being able to open the doors and not really have loads of neighbours, but have animals
Access
and birds
to
and
nature.
I love that.
yeah. So that's the personal one, and our business ones are huge, and they're quite altruistic in a lot of ways, and firm believer that if you give when you can, then it will come back to you energetically. So I've spent a lot of time over the last 7 years giving, and it will come back. So the recent thing that we've done is the Life Freedom method, which is our flagship method, which is a combination of lots of different modalities, has taken 2 people from being classified as disabled to no longer meeting that criteria.
Wow.
And we've done that with Liverpool University and the Walton Centre. So that's made it a clinical trial. The results have been outstanding, but we funded that ourselves. Now, because she's not Dr. Claire and I'm not Dr. Jules, nobody listens. Okay, we just get shut down as the woo meisters. But it's all science backed. It's all science backed. So our vision is to take that and prove it on a bigger level, so that the people that can't afford it, which is invariably the people that need it the most, can access it. So get it commissioned through the NHS or wherever. So that's one of the big steps. And the other thing is to share. We want. It's time for society to change rather than the people that feel like outcasts in that society. We are heading towards a paradigm shift. We absolutely are. And people are waking up to the fact that things are different. And there's so many kids with ADHD. There's so many adults with ADHD. There's so many children that don't fit in to the way that society is structured. And they're just labelled as wrong or naughty or all of those things. And we don't subscribe to that. We subscribe to the fact that it's time for society to change so that they can shine in their own right. And so that's another thing. We want to get what we do into education.
I'm so excited for all of that to happen.
We are.
As soon as that HQ is built,
Well, we're doing it now. We're doing it now. And we work with a lot of corporates and a lot of execs now, and all of the stuff that we do, because it's science backed. We are seeing. If you go in and say we're talking about wellness, they go, "Oh, no budget for that." You talk about performance all day long. We just go about it very differently.
That's what I say to schools. I work predominantly with children aged 7 to 17. I'm fully funded by Alder Hay, and I have to say to schools, when we want them to buy into something, I have to talk about the school avoidance children that I work with, and how many children I actually get back into school over, actually, I've stopped these children from trying to kill themselves. I've actually got them back into your school, bums on seats. And then you have the holistic, the well-being.
Actually, it'd be good to talk to you about that, because human design would probably be really helpful.
Yeah.
For that, because my daughters have really struggled as well, and girls tend to mask their challenges so much, and actually just understanding her design has really helped us parent her and helped her understand herself.
Yeah. Wow.
Same
In a
with
world
my
that
Danny
doesn't
as well.
understand her.
Yeah.
100%.
Same with Danny as well, right?
Like a sausage factory, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know, all our
completely.
children are exactly the same, and they're not. You know, my children are all so different.
Which is brilliant because it's individuality, isn't it? Everyone's their own.
You're losing a sense of you,
person.
aren't you? And that's you know what I'm all about in terms of identity and especially women. So my main focus over the next year is more, you know, getting mums back to their identity and remembering that they are still a woman. You know, I am still Claire, you're still Kathy. Just because we
You've got your
became
needs,
mums,
you've got your
Without
we've
the
got our needs.
label.
You've got your
And
dreams.
no guilt.
Yeah.
No guilt.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that because, you know, we have our children and we automatically think our lives, like, oh, it's everything. It's all about the children. We've got to put them first. And actually, your children are watching you and they're learning how to live. So if you're not living your life, how, you know, how are you expecting them to go off and then live their life? If you're staying in and you go, no, I'm not going out with friends this weekend because, you know, in my head, that would make me an awful mum and take time away from the children. You're actually teaching your children the complete opposite of what you want for them in life.
Complete
So,
empowerment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
agree.
I love that. Well, we've got a closing tradition on the podcast, as you know. And I love the fact that Kathy's co-hosting with me today because I can't get Cal's grilled eyes on me every time we mention it. So we ask our guests, if you were to make myself or Kathy a nice cup of tea, how would you make it? Like how do you make the perfect cup of tea?
Well, first of all, I love coffee. However, after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't have any more coffee. How I make the tea is I put the tea bag in with the sugar, a teaspoon of sugar. Then I pour it in, the boiled water in, stir, leave the tea bag in, and then pour the milk in.
Yeah, my tea.
Stir with the bag
Sorry,
in.
Cal.
Stir.
I'm not going to call this.
That's it, the relationship's
That's it.
over.
This business is over. All the girls are out the window. No Boris. With a bag.
So stick to it. Yeah, pour the tea in, put
I'll
the
stick
milk
to
in,
coffee
then
at your
I keep
house.
it in, stir it, and then I take it out and put it in the bin.
Thank you,
and drink
Claire.
it.
Jules, I'm
Perfect-
guessing you're
the
not.
perfect cup of tea. I've got two ways. Right, there's a conditioned way where you do it in a pot.
Yes. We like
The best cup of tea. Tea bags in a pot,
do like
boiling hot water, and if you're really clever, you heat the pot first.
Oh,
Right,
game changer.
come
Is
on,
Is that like a Congleton Cheshire thing?
No, it's a thing.
German thing.
This is what your grandparents did.
Okay.
It tastes like a proper brew. Then you put your tea bags in because we don't have loose leaf tea anymore. That would be too difficult. And pour it in. Put milk in the cup first, and then pour it in,
Okay.
and then the sugar. But if you come to my house,
Yeah.
tea bag in, hot water on, squidge, builder's brew,
Yeah.
bin, and then milk.
Okay.
So the reason we asked this is because it's been a thing for the last 6 years with me and Cal. When we went into a school and I made Cal a cup of tea, we were newly, you know, together on this journey, and I didn't take the tea bag out, and I turned around and I thought that was it.
She passed out.
But not more. She was looking at me as if I'd just like hit a child with the spoon. Or
Milk and
you
tea
know.
bag shouldn't mix. That's not right.
No.
That's what Cal says,
You
isn't
are
it?
definitely a
Did you
Cal.
say that?
You
Yeah.
are definitely a Cal. So there you go. We got 2 points, which is amazing.
We always have coffee, don't
We're going
we?
to have a debate about
Stick
this.
to your coffee.
Well,
Please stick to coffee.
I have matcha and she says that tastes like, she goes, that tastes like grass.
So we've both got a point. So thank you so much, and thank you both so much for being incredible guests, and good luck for
Thank you.
everything that you've got.
thank
Thank you,
for having us.
ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.